Welcome back, everybody, to the Bitcoin Business Bureau. As always, I'm your host, Litecoin Leader. Today, we're talking about a subscriber-only coin, but it's going to be a good one. So this coin has a lot of history throughout the industry. It's been around since 2014. That's when its Genesis block was first mined. It's related to two other coins that are very prominent and in the top 15 coins, but this coin is barely in the top 100. What other hints can I give? It's good for transactions. It has a fixed supply. It's got a strong community, but it's had some leadership issues, and it also has some exchange listing issues. So plenty to talk about this coin. I'm sure a lot of people are going to be encouraged by me talking about this one and putting it on my board, but let's see where it goes and also what I have to say about the news.
So as always, we start by looking at the ALTCOINopoly board. We've talked about coins in Zone 1 before. We've talked about coins in Zone 3. Haven't touched on Zone 2 yet. That's a mystery right now, but we'll get to it. But today we're going to be talking about Zone 4, which is the right side of the board. So Zone 4 is also considered the top tier properties, which makes sense because you have Boardwalk, Park Place, some luxury locations, the higher end triple properties, a nice wild card spot, and also the high-end commuter travel location, rail spot. So this particular coin I'm going to talk about, it's sort of a generational coin. It's considered to be the grandson of Bitcoin and the son of Litecoin. So it takes the best of both worlds from both those projects, builds upon it, and improves. And there is a fixed supply of it, and it's got a huge community. So without further ado, the coin is Digibyte, or DGB. Digibyte has a lot going for it. It's a top tier coin because there's so much upside that's available for Digibyte. The price is relatively low. As I'm speaking, it's roughly a dime, give or take a few pennies. But there are a large number of coins. We'll go over that exact number, and we'll go over some of the history of Digibyte in a few minutes. But that's going to be the space in the coin for today as we dig into it. And I think good things are coming for Digibyte in the next few weeks. Not financial advice, of course, just sharing my information. And we'll go from here. So let's start the conversation about Digibyte right at the beginning of CoinMarketCap. Where is Digibyte on the whole spectrum of cryptos right now? If you scroll down to almost the bottom of page 1, coin 80 is Digibyte. Now, you would think that a coin that's 11 cents would be a little higher, but Digibyte has a lot of coins. So let's take a look at, and then about 2/3 of them have been made so far. The entire circulating supply of Digibyte is 21 billion coins. That's 1,000 times larger than Bitcoin, which is 21 million. So, and it's 250 times the size of Litecoin. So Digibyte, digging into it a little bit further, it's a relatively old coin. It's been around since 2014. It's the Genesis block, or the first block, which was mined in January of 2014. It's hit an all-time high recently in U.S. dollar terms of U.S. dollars, and that was probably about 16 or 17 cents. Let's see, it's going to show me here. All-time high of 18 cents. Okay, 18 cents on May 1st. So there's plenty of room for this coin to run. The market cap of Digibyte is 1.5 billion, whereas its parent, let's go to Litecoin. Litecoin is 19 billion. So it is more than 10 times smaller than Litecoin. So it's interesting to note that. It just gives you an idea. If all of a sudden Digibyte went to $1, it would now be in the ballpark of around coin number 15. So Digibyte's at 11 cents today. So Digibyte has a lot going for it, a lot of pluses and minuses over the years. Digibyte has a huge community, a lot of support, a lot of people will love this coin. But it is a proof of work coin, so it is mined, but it has 5 different mining algorithms that are all evenly weighted. that uses the same mining algorithm as Bitcoin, which is SHA-256. It uses script, which is the language and the method that Litecoin uses, and it uses three others to try and balance it all out so that none can become the dominant way. And it's also dynamically changing, which means that for Bitcoin it resets every 2 weeks the level of difficulty. But if something happens right after it gets reset, and something happens to, like, if all the miners go offline in a particular country, it takes 2 weeks for it to be reset again. So Digibyte is more advanced and has learned from that, and they've incorporated some of those things in there. The 21 billion supply is going to be all mined by 2035, so that'll be the first of all three of these coins to get to full capacity. But it does not have a killer app yet, and it has had some issues in its history. Now, I will go over some of the more details, but again, Coin Bureau did a great job of this video back from 2019. This is where he said some of the statistics given in here. I'm sure this is dated, that they had 280,000 nodes. I'm sure that's well over 300,000 now. But it still talks about the different layers of Digibyte. There are 3 layers of Digibyte on how it's built. First, there's the app layer where all the dApps exist, the digital apps. That's where the smart contract layer exists. Layer 2 is the digital asset layer. That's where the security exists, and that's where the public ledger exists as well. And then layer 3, that's where the 5 mining algorithms lives in layer 2. Layer 3 is where the nodes are assigned, and that's the protocol layer. Things about this coin that are positives: it's very fast. It makes a block every 15 seconds, and it is the first to incorporate a thing called SegWit, or segregated witness. What that means is that they use shorthand for any addresses that have ever been written into the blockchain before, so that future transactions for that address can be truncated and that you can fit more information in each block. Right now the speed is 560. Well, the speed in 2019, it was 560 transactions per second. Odds are it's over 1,000 now, so it's definitely in the running for a transactional coin. The problems with the project have been the leadership and the fact that they lacked a killer app, and market penetration. Those have been the 3 main things. So
one of the issues for Digibyte was the leadership, and that was all signs pointed to Jared Tate. Jared Tate rubbed people the wrong way, is the nicest way to say it. And that caused a lot of people to wonder about putting it up on exchanges, and it did not get into Coinbase. It still is not on Coinbase. Binance was a struggle as well. That did not happen until after Jared left. Jared left in May of 2020. Binance listed it, let's take a look at the chart real quick, July of 2020. So that just goes to show that Binance pretty much had an axe to grind against Jared Tate and Digibyte. But now it's been added. So now we're just waiting for Coinbase to add it, which will really launch this going forward and make Digibyte much more accessible to people in the community and make the price probably go up. Not financial advice, but that's probably what's going to happen when a coin gets added to Coinbase, the Coinbase effect.
in addition, Digibytes lacked what would be, for all intents and purposes, to be considered a killer app, something that everybody wants to use and something that would drive market share and adoption. So the number one thing that's been out there for Digibyte, and if you go to their website, right at the top of their page, is DigiID. That is something that is probably the closest thing they have to a killer app, and it's authentication as its best. Basically, one of the best uses of blockchain is for personal identification and security. And with all the issues that were happening in the last year and a half or so in the world, there's been a big push for identification, authorization, record keeping on a blockchain. Enter Anthem ID, which partnered with Digibyte last year. This was created, I'm not sure when they created, but I think it was in May. The Anthem ID was on the short list for Europe for keeping records of people in Europe for various purposes. I'll let you decide if that's good or bad, but Anthem ID worked closely with Digibyte, the Digibyte Foundation. They are working together on using that ID. Basically, this could replace like passwords, maybe even passports, and this could be the killer app for Digibyte that could really spawn a lot of adoption and ownership and improve the price of the coin for certain. So I think I've covered most of Digibyte pretty well from top to finish. I think it's time to start looking at some charts and seeing some idea of where the price may go in the near future. So taking a quick look at the normal charts that we like to look at on TradingView for Digibyte, we see a few things, not always the easiest thing to watch for trends, but on the weekly chart, it looks like it's a broadening wedge that Bitcoin is basically moving up and down in this channel. It's mostly in the down cycle right now, around 10 or 11 cents. But if this trend line holds nicely, it should bounce up from here over the next several weeks. Not financial advice, but the charts are saying that it could bounce up here, head up into the 20s, possibly even up to 25 cents by middle of June. Now, that would be an all-time high again in terms of dollars. It's not out of the realm of possibility simply because if you look at the pricing, it's about 10 or 11 cents now. If you look at it in terms of Bitcoin, in historical perspective, it's sort of in a nice, on a weekly chart here, we're looking at a nice cup and a handle. So to make a measurement there, we're looking at about a 300% move up here. So a 300% move from the bottom of the cup to the top of the cup, and from the handle to move up 300% from there. Another measured move of 300%, please. Would put it above its all-time high. So I think that a 250 is reasonable, which will put us at this blue line. Now, what is that blue line? That blue line is the all-time high of Digibyte in terms of Bitcoin, which is about 3 times where it is from today. So let's say it goes 2.5 to 3 times where it is today. 2.5 times a dime, that's 25 cents. So 25 to 30 cents is what the charts are saying is for the upside for Digibyte between now and the middle of summer. Again, not financial advice. That's just what the charts are telling me. Just wanted to share it along with you, and let's see where it goes.
So there's the coin for today, Digibyte. Grandson of Bitcoin, son of Litecoin. 21 billion coins, top 100 coin, but only 11 cents. So there's plenty of room for it to grow. Could it get to $1? Quite possibly. Not financial advice, but it's got that potential. And people love coins that are cheap. They never look at the number of coins. They don't understand market cap. So if an 11-cent coin gets added to Coinbase, watch out. Now, we've seen what happened was Jared Tate left last year. It finally got onto Binance less than 6 months later. And now it's on the blog for Coinbase for consideration. So that will be a major step forward for a coin that's potential for a payment coin. And it's just waiting for that killer app to finally get launched. It could be Antim ID. It could be Digi ID. Could be anything. Could be payments. Could be just getting listed on Coinbase and getting more attention. So there's a lot to like about Digibyte going forward. There's plenty to like about this coin. It's one of my top coins. It gets why I got a spot in zone 4. So take note of where it goes on the board, jot it down, keep your board ready for August. Close. Finish the sentence. 3, 2, 1. It's a fast coin. It's got lots of coins. It can be used for liquidity and for payments. Lots of utility for this coin. The sky is the limit if things start getting rolling in the altcoin season as we really expect it to go. So Digibyte, it gets a spot in column 4. And with all that said, I'm going to close the drawer in the bureau, and I'll see you next time.